Any other question? Let me check the comment box. Doc, if there's no question, I want to ask another. It goes for both you and Dr. Stanley. The issue of salt again. You made mention of probiotics and prebiotics. I think this will be in a two-in-one question. Um, do we have probiotics and prebiotics readily available on the market, and are they like FDA approved? And then looking at the mechanism through which sometimes we use salt for, is it acting in any ways like a probiotic or prebiotic? I don't know, because it looks like using salt solution, if done right, let me just emphasize on that, has some beneficial properties, because we know that salt kills catfish in excess. Um, but then if sometimes you have some challenges and all that, and then there's some kind of salt solution in there, it looks like it has some beneficial um, qualities. Do we classify it under the probiotics, prebiotics, or the disinfecting class when it comes to our fish health issues? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll take the first part, then give the salt to Dr. Stanley. He will best describe how in the fishery sector we use salt. And yes, the prebiotic and probiotic, they are readily available on the shelves. You go to the pharmacy shops, but please look for probiotic and prebiotic for fish. There are a lot of probiotic and prebiotic for other animals, for pigs, for poultry, for other animals, even for humans. But please go for ones for fish. And when you go for them, try to listen to how they should be used. Because even though they are beneficial, if you don't use them appropriately, if you don't use the probiotics and the prebiotics appropriately, they may act against us. They may cause negative effects. So please, they are there on the shelf, but go by the way you are told to use. Now, Stanley can take up the salt company.
Yeah, thank you very much, Doc. When your senior colleague tells you that you will take those questions, you can't confirm, just comply. Yeah, so I just want to make a quick comment on the probiotics and prebiotics. The probiotics are some antibiotics that are, I mean, some bacteria that are harmless to the species you are talking about. That's why Dr. Apache is saying it has to be for the species you are farming. So if you go and take for piggery and you're using in fish farming, there may be some pathogens that are not harmful for pig but harmful for fish. So if you go and use it for that, then you're creating the whole problem for yourself. Again, the prebiotics are like a small food that is good for the good bacteria that already exists in the organism you are farming. So you are only helping the growth of those good organisms, which is also what the probiotics do, so that they will outcompete the ones that will bring disease. Okay, so that's how probiotics and prebiotics work. Now, to the salt, I just want to add that salt in aquaculture or in fish health is used as, like when you are sick and go to the hospital and you are losing fluids, you are losing electrolytes, like your body balance is not right. Okay, sometimes we give infusions or fluids to do that balance. Salt does this for fish. So it helps bring back that off balance that the fish is going through because of the stress or the disease or whatever. But it does not treat the pathogen that is causing the disease. At certain concentrations, it can deal with certain ectoparasites, like certain parasites on the skin. But even that, it is to a certain concentration, because remember, it is harmful to the fish you are farming. So if you go beyond that concentration, you are trying to kill the housefly, but you end up worsening your wound. Okay, so it is useful, but you also have to maintain within that the concentration. Then Michael was asking the classification. It's not Salt is not a probiotic or disinfectant. It's another class on its own. It's a different kind of chemical on its own. So I guess I have answered the questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Stanley. I think, yes, I mean, some of these questions are what comes up because people see something working and then they think, just like Doc was saying, it's the ultimate solution for all their problems. That's why I just wanted um, the clarity on that. Since we don't have, okay, Enoch has raised his hand. So Enoch, you can ask
Yeah.
your question. Yeah.
Okay, so mine is just a opinion I want to share or a comment I want to pass. And with the explanation Dr. Stanley gave, I think the basic reason why maybe with your question that you asked, you see, what usually people use to kill the catfish is the solid salt. Okay, the solid ones they try to spread it on them. But that's different from what they use in treating the fish, because with that one it's usually dissolved in water, so it's in a solution form, and the basic idea is that just like Dr. Stanley said, there are some parasites or freshwater parasite that cannot withstand some level of salinity. And so sometimes when you increase the salinity level of the water, they tend not to survive and they perish. But then again, that depends on the concentration you are using. So yes, salt is used for treatment. Sometimes it can correct the osmoregulatory balance, especially when you are transferring fish and the fish is in water. They constantly lose salt or ions in their blood to the fresh water or the water that it's inside. So normally people kind of add salt to compensate for that, so that kind of maintain that osmoregulatory regulatory balance. But then again, they also use it as maybe if there are wounds on the fish and other stuff, the salt can help kill the wounds in some way. So Michael, what you are asking is two different things: solid salt, which people usually spread on the catfish to kill them, and the one used for treatment is normally in a solution form. So somebody can maybe prepare like 5 ppt of the salt solution. That's about dissolving 5 kilograms of salt in 1,000 liters to get that solution. So yes, it can be used for treatment, but that depends on the level of concentration you are using. And people also use it to kill the fish, especially the solid one. They just spread it on the fish and then they would die. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Thank you for your contribution. Yes, what you said is true. I've actually seen injuries on catfish that has been treated successfully with the use of just salt solutions. So that is true. Um, questions. I know most of us joined quite late, but I think basically the summary of what um, Dr. Afache presented was that in using antibiotics indiscriminately, we sort of expose um, the antimicrobials in the animals to build resistance. And one thing you mentioned that I was really fascinated by was that antimicrobial resistance is a natural thing. It's like an evolutionary process. Organisms will build some kind of resistance to certain drugs in a bid to continue existing. So antimicrobial resistance is something that will necessarily happen. And then a way of preventing that, because after it happens, then it means that um, the drugs that we have might eventually become ineffective in combating certain diseases that they were used for. And then we'll have to like go through a period of ineffective disease management, especially with the antibiotics. And then we'll have to for the next um, best drug that they can develop. And I know for a fact that, well, maybe these days because of technology, but it takes a while before certain drugs are developed. So we should be careful. Another reason why we are not supposed to use just any kind of antimicrobial or antibiotics in our um, fish production is the One Health situation. Because let's say you use penicillin or amoxicillin in your fish farming, and then the antibiotics, or sorry, the antimicrobials in the fish develop that kind of resistance to penicillin or amoxicillin, then human beings consume it. That's why I introduced the withdrawal thing. Human beings also come and consume it. Then the antibiotics or the microbials in the fish that are now transferred into us share that antimicrobial resistance with the microbes that are in us. Basically, if I'm lying, please correct me because I'm not purely in that. But I think that's what I got. That's a general concept. And then the antimicrobial or antimicrobial resistance is now passed on in the human system. So now we too develop that antimicrobial resistance. And when the human being becomes sick, needs to take an antibiotic, it goes for it, it doesn't work. So the grand scheme of the issue is that whatever we are doing in our animal production ultimately affects, because at the end of the day, we are producing the fish to eat. That is why it's very, very important. If possible, we should um, design our production in a way that we might not need to use any kind of drugs, ultimately the antibiotics and any kind of antimicrobial. We should strive. That's why we mentioned the biosecurity and then the good farming practices. Keep a healthy fish stock, do surveillance and monitoring, keep records of your mortality, and importantly, keep constant touch with your fish health experts. I think we have fish health experts for every region across the country. Dr. Stanley is in charge for the northern regions from Kumasi Airport, Dr. Dodu for the Eastern and Akosombo area, and then Dr. Rabna for the southern and then the coastal areas from Accra to somewhere western region. I think we have their contacts on the page even. That's the Ghana Catfish Sustainability page. So we should keep constant touch. Disease surveillance is very important, and we shouldn't go and prescribe medicines ourselves. We shouldn't be taking medicine because a certain farmer said, "Hey, I had this issue, and this is what I did. This is the antimicrobial that I took or antibacterial that I gave to the fish, and then they recovered." That is a very, very bad practice. That also leads to antimicrobial resistance. Also, if you've been given any kind of antibacterial or antibiotics used in your production, the timeline that has been given, the stipulated timeline that has been given, use it for 3 days, should be 3 days. Do not go beyond the days that have been prescribed by your fish health expert. So I think, as I said, I'll be in touch with Dr. Kofi Apache for the slides on this, and then an abridged version, a summarized version will be shared on our Ghana Catfish Farmers Union page for all members to take a look at and then advise themselves adequately. I feel like if you don't have um, biosecurity measure on your farm as of now, it's very important that you reach out to the fish health experts so that they help you um, get one in place. It's very, very important. As I mentioned earlier on, most of the farmers, we complain that there is no market, there's no market. But the reality is that there's a huge market and a huge potential for catfish in even the European market. But the challenge is that um, some fish species from Ghana, especially, is banned. And this is one of the main issues. The use of antimicrobials during production, the indiscriminate use of antimicrobials during production. That's why aquaculture fish products and farm fish products is banned, especially in the European Union. So I think we are required to put in a residual monitoring plan and then a robust biosecurity, farm level biosecurity plan. So like Dr. Rightly said, measures are being put in place for that to be done. We will invite Dr. Apache again for another session on biosecurity measures. I think Dr. Stanley will also do the same. I think at this point, that's one of the things we really need to emphasize on biosecurity measures so that we can prevent um, the introduction of any kind of disease on the farms rather than waiting for the disease to come up and then now looking at situations where we will be going in for drugs and using it indiscriminately. So, in the absence of any other, I think, Doc, do you have any closing remark before we wrap up? Dr. Stanley, if there's any closing remark, please, so that we can wrap up today's webinar. Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much. What I just want to say is the take-home messages, please put them in your pocket, go and distribute them, go and preach the gospel. Those take-home messages, they are very, very important. That's all I will say for now, till we meet again.
Thank you, Dr. Pache. We really, really appreciate you taking your time. I know you're a very, very busy person, so I'm very grateful for the sacrifice. Dr. Stanley.
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
yes, yeah.
Yes, thank you very much, Michael, for putting this together. We are always available to assist and help the industry grow. I just want to, by way of my comments, usually people complain that you don't get us the vets or you don't know the vets as and where you need. There are four of us located in the country and we will make our details available. If you need any vet consult on any disease or any funny looking thing, please, some of us are available. I work within the northern sector, so farmers within the Kumasi up north enclave, I'm for you. But my other colleagues are also available, and if you need help, you can just reach out to any of us. We connect you and then get your problem solved. So the days of I don't have a vet and I don't know who to call are over. If you contact any fisheries officer, they will forward it to us. If you contact Ranan, if you contact all the stakeholders within the industry, they know us. I mean, at least by now. So if you contact anybody within the sector, they can connect you to us, and you can get to solve the problem you want solved. The Kumasi lab is also functioning. We are running laboratory samples for fish. We've done a few surveillance activities over the years, so now we can say we are very conversant with bacterial diseases. We also have set up for molecular diseases like the ISKMV and the strep and those others that will require PCR and those things to diagnose. We are able to do that. We are only looking for reagents in that support. So the labs are available, and we are also ready to support industry with that regard. Aside that, just want to say thank you to everybody and have a great day. Bye.
Thank you, Dr. Stanley. Like you rightly said, I think we have multiple fish health experts on our page now. I know Dr. Dodo is there. We also have Fisheries Commission directors on our page. We have Dr. Darrellin is on our page. He's a very active member on our union page. So if you need any fish health experts, you can contact Stanley, Dr. Dodo. If you need anything related to the Fisheries Commission, any help on that side, Director Barnes is on the page, and then Dr. Opong is also on the page. We will have another webinar next week, but that is directly targeted at hatchery operations. So I'll share the information also. And then for those who joined today's webinar and are not members of the union, you can reach out to me on the flyer, the number on the flyer. Then we take steps to add you to our union. We are looking at having more webinars to build the capacity of farmers so that we can make the most profit from our operation. So next week, we have one webinar from the water resource with a resource person from Water Research Institute. The resource person is in the UK, it's a company in the UK who wants to talk to us about new technologies that help maximize hatchery operations. In the absence of any comments, questions, please let me say a big sorry again for the miscommunication and then the technical issues we faced in the beginning. We try our best to prevent that and then eventually also get more recordings for our session. So hopefully we will meet next week, Thursday. The time will be communicated and then we can learn more.